Welcome. Israel admit to shoot and kill Palestinian civilian. Hamas blames Israel for ceasefire delay as Gaza death toll climbs. Trump demands an end to the war in Gaza. Could ceasefire be close? Israel forces kill 72 in Gaza, including children and aid seeker. This is G&I News Update, and I am Veronica Limo. Israel army admits shooting and kill Palestinian civilian at the aid distribution. This is the center in Gaza. An Israel naval strike hits a sized cave in Gaza, killing more than 30 people, including women, children, and journalists. Israel's opposition leader Yair Lapid argues an end to the war in Gaza, as PM Benjamin Netanyahu faces mounting calls to halt the fightings. The leader in Palestinian General Federation of Trade Union, PGFTU, Shaher Saad, has welcomed a powerful joint statement from more than 52 Arabs and international trade union federations, which calls for an immediate end to Israel's assault on Gaza. Saad described the statement as a document of solidarity that reflects the living conscience of the global labor movement, warning that more than 6,000 Palestinian workers has left their jobs during Israel's war on Gaza. The statement condemned the bombardment as a continuing genocide, targeting the very existence of the people. Workers are being killed simply for trying to survive. It also argued government arms manufacturers worldwide to end weapons export in Israel. Foreign ministers from the Group of the Seven, G7 nations said support the ceasefire between Israel and Iran, according to the joint statement. G7 countries also argued for the negotiation to address Iran's nuclear program after the provision round of talks halted. After the previous round of talks halted due to the war in the mid-June. Israel kills nearly 600 Palestinians at aid center. Since May 27, at least 583 Palestinians have been killed and 4,186 injured while waiting for food and aid distribution sites operated by Israel and United States. Backed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, GHF. According to Gaza Strip's Ministry of Health, a lot of people here are trying to stay away from the GHF center because of the danger involved in going to them, because of the ongoing and deliberate shootings of the aid seekers there. But again, staying away is not the answer, because if there is no food, it means children, they are going to go bed hungry. They're going to go to bed hungry. While the previous United Nations-led distribute network operated around 400 sites across the Strip, the GHF, guarded by armed private securities contractors working for the US companies, has set up only 4 mega sites, 3 in the south and 1 in the center Gaza, none in the north, where conditions are more severe. Accessing 3 centers in Palestine must sometimes walk many kilometers through active bombard zone, navigate biometric checkpoints, and carry heavy provisions back to their families. The aid boxes themselves barely meet subsistence needs, while the World Food Programme recommends 2,100 calories per person per day. Israel has kept aid up to 1,600. Israel soldiers troops were told to fire at the crowd of Palestinians and use unnecessary lethal forces against people who appeared to pose no threats. They fired machine guns from tanks and threw grenades. There were some incidents where the group of civilians was hit while advancing under the cover of fog. Between 1 to 5 people were killed every day in the area of Gaza where the soldiers is stationed. It's a killing field. Before the war began in October 7, 2023, about 500 trucks carrying humanitarian aids entered Gaza daily. That changed when Israel launched its war on the enclave. Aid deliveries became more fewer than 80 trucks a day, and in March, Israel halted them together during nearly 3 months. blockade on all supplies. On May 27, the GHF took over aid operations as a private contractors, introducing a new delivery system outside the traditional UN framework. The organization set up this year in the US was described by the New York Times newspaper as an Israel brainchild, part of the long-term strategy conceived in 2023 as Israel began planning for Gaza's future. The GHF has not publicly disclosed its funding sources. It said it had secured $100 million in commitment, although details remain vague. The US Department of State recently pledged $30 million in support, as UNICEF has warned the child malnutrition in Gaza is rising at alarming state. In May alone, at least 5,119 children between 6 months and 5 years old were admitted to hospital for the treatment to cure malnutrition, a nearly 50% increases from April, and 150% surge from February. From February, when a temporary ceasefire allowed for a great aid access. In just 150 days from the start of the year until the end of May, 16,736 children, an average of 120 each day, have been admitted for treatment. 1 in 5 Palestinians in Gaza Strip is facing starvation because of Israel aid blocked. The chaos at aid distribution point underscores the staggering level of hunger gripping Gaza. At least 66 children have died of malnutrition in Gaza over the course of Israel's war authorities in the Palestinians' enclave aid, condemning a tightened Israel siege that has prevented the entry of milk nutrition supplements and other food aid. That is an average of 30 children killed every single day. Past 20 months, since October 7, 2023, Israel has killed at least 17,400 children, including 15,600 whom have been identified. Many more remains buried under the houses, the most presumed dead. Many of surviving children have endured trauma of multiple wars, and all of them have spent their lives under the oppressive shadow of an Israel blockade, affecting every aspect of their existence from birth. Over the past 20 months, Israel attacks have left their homes in ruins, destroyed their schools, and overwhelmed the healthcare facilities. The rest of the children bears invisible scars of war, trauma that affect their mental health, safety, and future. Hope are rising that Israel and Hamas could negotiate the ceasefire after 20 months of war in Gaza. USA President Donald Trump is urging process talking to social media to demand make the deal in Gaza get the hostage back. Trump further raised expectation, saying there could be an agreement between Israel and Hamas within the next week. But what are the prospects of a genuine lasting ceasefire in Gaza? Ceasefires are generally complicated to negotiate because they need to take into account of competing demands and pressure. They usually, but not always, require both sides to compromise. Gaza is no exception. In conflict that have been going on for more than 70 years, compromise and concession have become a game of cat and mouse. Israel is the cat that holds the military strength and the majority of political powers. Hamas is the mouse that can dart and delay, but in the end has the little choice, but accept the terms of ceasing fire if it wants to halt the violence currently being inflicted on Palestinians. Trump appears confident by what he precised as the recent success in his efforts to broker a truce in Israel and Iran war. He may think he can use similar tactics to pressure Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu into making a ceasefire deal with Gaza. This is GNI News Update. Kindly don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment for more updates. And I remain Veronica Limo.